Hmm. Hello, friends. It's Maya Lila and I'm on my computer, which is a little low. But did you notice that this couch matches my mala? It's like orange crushed velvet and sunstone. Um, how's your morning going? I have been sitting here. I recorded a video about doubt and divine orchestration and a situation I went through recently where my computer died and I freaked out. And then it was all for a beautiful, perfect reason and unfolded in an amazing way. And yeah, and then I just decided to go live. So today I want to read a poem that I'm going to randomly select from this book, Love Poems from God. I call it Love Poems from the Divine because in our culture, God is inferred to be masculine and goddess is feminine. And when we refer to God as a he, we're cutting ourselves off from a full half of divinity, the feminine side. And so, yeah, one of my life purposes is to expand our conception and understanding of God beyond the masculine and into not even just to the feminine. I mean, it's fun to say to refer to God as a she because it hasn't been for so long. But God isn't it. God is everything. God doesn't have a penis. God doesn't have a womb, even though it would make more sense for God to have a womb than a penis. But God doesn't have genitalia. So let's not refer to God as a he or she. Let's refer to God as an it or as the they or as you, me, everything, all that is, all that isness, or, all mother, all father. If you need to have, gender, just use both. And he, she, God, goddess, God. Anyways, words are crazy. But okay, so we're gonna pick a poem from this. I love this book so much. I was gifted this book recently by a friend, a dear soul friend, who is also very connected to Paramahansa Yogananda. And Paramahansa Yogananda is one of my spirit guides, has been for a long time, since I met him when two people in 1 week handed me the book Autobiography of a Yogi and said, I think you should read this. This is, I think, 2007. If you haven't read Autobiography of a Yogi, I highly recommend you read it. It's an amazing book. So this book, though, has poems by mystics throughout the ages. It's such a good book, and I love people who are in love with the divine and who experience the divine erotically, like in a sensual, loving, like yummy, connected way. And I was raised Catholic. I thought about becoming a nun, and then I realized like it's not my life path this time around. Like I've been a nun before, and I'm not meant to do that this time. So I did not become a nun. Um, but I've been working with this concept of developing an erotic relationship with the divine. Like, what if an erotic doesn't have to necessarily mean sexual, but it can include sexual energy, which is life force energy. But for me, Eros is just like being fully alive and fully in present and fully in the body and fully in all of the senses. And like sensuality is literally being in the senses and in the body and in the beauty of the body and like how good our bodies can feel. And what if we don't have this divide between things that are like holy and sacred and godly, and then like the sensuality, which is the feminine, which has been removed, and like sensuality and being embodied is more related to being in the feminine. And so what if we just put everything together and have this divine erotic relationship with the universe, with the divine, with God, with goddess, rather than um, this like parent child hierarchical relationship where we're kind of resenting the divine and like, why aren't you giving me what I want? And like, how come I have to do this? And this is so hard. No, no, no. And that's not as fun as being in like a loving, cherishing, mutual devotion is another concept. What if you let God worship you? What if you let the goddess, which is weird that we say the goddess and not the god, and I've noticed that recently too. But what if you let goddess worship you? Um, because we are it. Like we are the divine in a human body, in a little tiny fractal piece that gets to express in its own unique, crazy, unique way. Okay. I have ADD if you haven't noticed. But okay, so this book has poems by Rumi. We all know Rumi. Saint Francis of Assisi, who's another one of my soul friends. Hafiz. I'm hearing different ways of saying it, but we'll say Hafiz because most people think it's Hafiz. Kabir, Saint Teresa of Avila, Tukaram, I don't even know who that is. I haven't read about. So with all the poems, there's also like a little intro to each of the people, and it tells you when they lived, where they lived, what they were up to. Gives you a little background on them. Saint Catherine of Siena. I have lived in Assisi, and I've lived in Siena, which is freaking me out a little bit right now because I hadn't actually put that together. Um, Italy is a land of mysticism and femininity and the divine feminine, and I think that's why I love it so much, because it has this like underlying connection to the divine feminine and a value for the feminine aspects like beauty and sensuality, and like slow living and community. And that's something I've been thinking about lately. Um, Mira, which I think is Mirabai, but I think she was like in the Middle East. A lot of these are either like Italian or Middle Eastern. St. Thomas Aquinas, Rabia, Meister Eckhart, and St. John of the Cross. So these are the authors that are in this book. Um, and I wanted to just randomly pick a poem for us today. So, okay. Mm. So I don't even know who this is by. I'm going to read the poem first, and then we'll figure out who it's by. You have never been lost. I wanted to put something on this page that might make your heart see as mine, for the truth lives in me now, its ways I know. When God flowed into itself, it made the mill happy. These words, light ground, hold them. Every world sent out its scouts looking for a merchant who can say, "You have never been lost, dear. It is God who became confused. When it returns home, the mill will sing. Existence leans its mouth." Here, wait, hold on. Let me redo this line because this is good. Existence leans its mouth toward me because my love cares for it. Existence leans its mouth toward me because my love cares for it. Okay, so let me see who this is by. Today it was Meister Eckhart. And so I'll read you this. So most of you, I'm guessing, know Eckhart Tolle, and Eckhart actually took his name from Meister Eckhart, who I guess was his favorite mystic. And so I'll just read this little background on Meister Eckhart. A hand in my soul can reach out and touch Jerusalem as my other hand tastes the beauty of the Rhine. And that's a line from one of his poems. So Meister Eckhart lived from 1260 to 1328 and is one of history's great mystics. His religious writings were so eloquent that they helped evolve the German language. He was a Catholic monk and scholar who often presented his faith and spiritual understandings in sermons of stunning clarity through the Catholic Church, though the Catholic Church apparently feared Eckhart's brilliance and was on the verge of bringing him before a kind of inquisition when he died. The works of Meister Eckhart are a theological treasure. They are perhaps at times even divine revelation. Meister Eckhart was born in the village of Hockheim in Germany. When he was a young man, he joined the Dominicans at Erfurt. He superbly blended the life of contemplation within a career of great external involvement. He became a teacher and then in 1298 was made prior of the Dominican convent at Erfurt and vicar provincial of Thuringia. I don't know any of these places. He became okay in 1300. So this is like, yeah, a long time ago, 1300. He began to lecture in Paris, and 2 years later was given the degree of Master of Sacred Theology by his order. When he returned to Erfurt, he was made provincial for the large province of Saxony, and later he was appointed vicar general for Bohemia, and he was asked to reform the demoralized monasteries there. I've actually lived in a monastery in San Francisco that was converted into like a healer community, and it was a converted monastery. And next door there was this church that was abandoned, and while I was living there, they made it into a roller disco. And so every Saturday night, next to our monastery, there would be the church, and like it would be lit up from the inside with all these disco lights. And so you'd see all these rainbow lights coming through the stained glass windows and like just the beat of house music. And it was so much fun. It was amazing. I love life. Okay. Okay, blah blah blah. He was considered by many the ideal priest and scholar. It was life itself that Eckhart loved to talk about, the life of the fields and the life of the sky and the wonders of the human heart. It is easy to see how he raised many a brow when he spoke out like this. Is this not a holy trinity, the firmament, the earth, our bodies? And is it not an act of worship to hold a child and till the soil and lift a cup? And communion, first seek that from your lover's soul before anything offered from a priest. Woo! His deep and radical insights and his great popularity with his countrymen led to accusations of heresy. Of course it did. Eckhart publicly defended himself in February of 1327, stating that he had always believed God was, as God said he was, indivisible. I don't like using the he pronoun, but this book does that, which I kind of want to like take white out and just put it. He'd always believed that God was as God. God is God. Language drives me nuts sometimes, but the divine was as the divine said it was, indivisible. And that sincere contemplation of the divine's own description of itself turned into the sublime experiences and compassionate understanding that Eckhart preached and wrote about. Eckhart died the following year. The church condemned and suppressed his work and probably destroyed a lot of it. Ugh, like that makes me want to throw up. In the 1880s, two Latin manuscripts of Eckhart's were found. Since 1980, the Dominican order has sought to reveal that Eckhart was an exemplary Christian mystic and priest. So I love that. I love that he says, seek, let's read that. Communion, first seek that from your lover's soul before anything offered from a priest. This is said by a fucking priest. I love that. So yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to bring life back into holiness and divinity. And it's been separate for so long in the churches of like sexuality is evil and holiness is good. And holiness means self-sacrifice and not not paying attention to your body, not listening to your body, not feeling good in your body, don't feel good. So I want to bring back this connection between eros and life and pleasure and joy and beauty and holiness and sacredness, and just reunite the the divine masculine, the divine feminine, our divine bodies, the divine everything. Like bring it all back in. So sorry, I'm shaking like crazy right now because my computer's on my lap. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm gonna stop this video now. Like, subscribe, comment. I love comments. I love feedback. If you want more of these poems, let me know. If there's any other videos that you want, let me know. I'm doing a series called Conversations with Mystics, where I'm interviewing people who are on the mystical journey and sharing their experiences. And I love talking about this shit. I want to bring mysticism and the mystical back to Western society because we've been sold a lie that spirit isn't real, that all of this magical, mystical, spiritual shit isn't really real, and it's mostly delusion or fantasy. It's not. It's real. So let's remember together and let's reintegrate the greater. Our culture, our society, the Western society is the only society probably that's ever existed that denies the existence of the divine and of spirit. Like every other indigenous culture, every other historical culture is like, yeah, there's ancestors, yeah, there's spirits and we can communicate with them. Yes, like people can talk to the divine. And yes, there's more than just this, just the material, like you're in a body and then you're going to die and that's it. No, that's fucking lies. And it's schizophrenic and we've been gaslit. And, this is all on purpose. It's all the divine separating itself from the divine so it can come back together into the divine. I get that. And let's remember that there's more than just the material world. And you're not alone and you're not separate from each other and from the divine. Um, yeah, this is my This is my jam. All right, I'm gonna close up here. I don't know how to do this. End the stream. Could you hear me? Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Okay. Bye.